One of the pleasures of working as an interpreter is to be able to meet all kinds of different people and also to hear all different kinds of languages and accents, including in English. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be speaking to you about the subject of addictions and changes in society. Among other things, I'll be talking about coffee and painkillers and social media, and also more traditional forms of addiction that you may already know. I'll give you a few figures, not too many. I think how we think about the figures is what's most important. So shall we begin? Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to speak to you today, and today I'm going to talk to you about the subject of addictions and some thoughts I've been having recently on that topic. The other day, I went into a wonderful little coffee shop here in Brussels. On my way in, I saw a sign which said, it was written in English, it said, "Did you ever stop and think that maybe coffee is addicted to me?" Well, I very much appreciated the sense of humor that was displayed by the coffee shop on their sign, and I laughed, and I hope that an interpreter on their way to a test or to their first day of work also had the opportunity to laugh at the humor of the coffee shop. But addictions are no laughing matter. Setting humor aside, I think it's perfectly fair for us to say that in today's world, addictions actually seem to be increasing. Addictions can take many forms. Traditionally, it was thought that certain people were considered to be addicted to substances such as perhaps alcohol or various drugs such as cocaine or heroin. These people had a need for these substances, and they couldn't seem to do without them. And in some sense, this was how people viewed addiction popularly. More recently, other addictions have been identified. Some of these involve other medicines and other chemical substances. For example, painkillers. Painkillers are a great example. What are painkillers? Well, I think you know. The name implies that painkillers are, in fact, medicinal drugs used by doctors to relieve suffering in their patients, and specifically to reduce the intensity of the pain that those patients suffered or suffer. Unfortunately, many patients do develop a dependency upon painkillers, particularly when their pain is chronic and it goes on over a long period of time, and they are taking painkillers over a very long period of time. This has become a problem in my country, the United States of America. The problem has become so vast that many experts actually believe that painkillers originally prescribed by doctors but later becoming addictive substances will shorten the life expectancy of people born after 1970. When I first saw that, I thought, that's really incredible. How could an addiction to one thing be shortening the life expectancy of an entire generation? However, if you read the articles, and many of them came out in the popular media, leading newspapers and magazines, the articles point out the long-term health effects of painkillers. Painkillers have been widely prescribed for a variety of conditions, and this means that a very large segment of the population has actually been exposed to the use of painkillers. Whether that is true or not, only time will tell. However, other addictions have also been identified. One of them, of course, was identified by my friends at the coffee shop, and that is coffee. Who doesn't need their cup of joe in the morning? I know that I do. I drink coffee every single day. When I tried to go off of coffee, my doctor actually prescribed a prescription dosage of painkiller in order to enable me to withstand the headaches I was going to have given the vast quantities of coffee that I drink on a regular basis. It wasn't an easy experience. I actually decided to start drinking coffee again. But coffee does seem to act in many ways like an addiction, although I'm probably not likely to break into someone's house in order to finance my coffee habit. Social media, however, has been identified as another possible source of addiction. And let me give you some figures here. A study was recently done in the United Kingdom demonstrating just how severe this problem is. 78% of British adults own smartphones. That doesn't seem to be a problem. The manufacturers do well, and we all get much better communications and access to data. However, the survey showed that in the UK, adults are checking their smartphones every 12 minutes. Checking your smartphone every 12 minutes, it turns out, amounts to spending 24 hours a week on the smartphone, checking messages and social media. I probably don't need to point this out to you, but that amounts to a part-time job of 24 hours a week, unpaid, and the rate of use is increasing. What are we to make of this? People make much of statistics. I don't think the statistics are necessarily the most important thing. We actually already live with too much information. That might be another addiction. I think the most important thing is simply looking at this issue with a little bit of wisdom. Wisdom would tell us that we could do so much if we were to spend those 24 hours a week doing something kind for those we love. As for the rest, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you to consider what I've said today, and perhaps you'd like to join me down the street for a cup of coffee and a chance to check our smartphones together. Thank you.